think the actuaries code is really helpful because it's something you can use day to day. You can use it when you're thinking about preparing for a meeting, when you're about to express an opinion, when you're about to explain something to somebody. So it's very practical. It also means that you think about your own behaviour. So you examine what you're doing against the principles of the code. I'm working mainly as a non-executive director now, so I don't deliver many reports or analyses or things like that. However, I am the recipient of them. So one of the first things I would look for in an actuarial report is, does it comply with the standards? Is that statement there? And then that gives me more confidence in the results and understanding of how they've been put together. So I've done the discussions with two people and then had it done to me with one person. And in all three cases, it's been incredibly useful for me personally and for the person who's talking about it. So it makes you look back at the CPD you've done and think about how relevant it is, and then also think ahead, what CPD am I going to do over the next 12 months? And I found in my own discussion about my own CPD, the person I did it with suggested some things I hadn't thought of. So that has been really helpful. And I've got a plan for covering that during the CPD year. Early on in your career, you probably don't think about regulation very much. And it's more as I've got more experience and worked for financial services regulators that I've thought about the regulation of professions. And for me, I think it was when I was on the board of the Casualty Actuarial Society in the States, and I got involved in understanding and helping to change, although not very much, the American disciplinary system for actuaries. So I was comparing and contrasting the two systems. So interestingly, in America, they don't make disciplinary cases public, which I think is a mistake, because first of all, you can't learn from them. And secondly, you don't know who's been disciplined and who hasn't. So I think our scheme's much better for having that transparency. And then I stood for the Council of the Institute and Faculty. So that made me look at the regulation from another perspective, which was quite helpful. So my personal belief about professions is you need membership and fellowship. We get that. We need education and ongoing training, and we get that. And then you've got to have the discipline. So you can't have a profession where there's no disciplinary aspect. And I think people think about disciplinary stuff in perhaps too negative a way. It is actually an opportunity for learning from other people's cases and learning from an actuary's own case, if they can do that. There's also quite a big opportunity for, I'm going to use the word redemption. So one of the cases I looked at last year was somebody who was applying for readmittance to the profession, having been disciplined and suspended for 5 years. And they wanted to do that because they wanted to share their experiences of kind of where it had gone wrong for them. So, and I thought that was really powerful, so much so that I've actually invited this person to speak to Actuaries Rock, and they're going to be doing that later this year. One of my hobbies is reading reports of where things go horribly wrong. So like the Northern Rock report, the report into the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors more recently, and trying to think about what I would have done in that particular situation and how being an actuary and a professional and subject to our regulation might have helped in some of those situations. So for example, one of my ex-colleagues had a view that the banking crisis might have been resolved or perhaps mitigated if actuaries had worked in banks, because there aren't really any similar banking professionals. So you haven't got that professional aspect to necessarily to the work that people are doing.